Okay, page 299 in your workbook. We're going to be working with decimals now. Okay. So the diagram shows the heights of a plant at the end of 3 weeks. After week 1, the plant is 3/10 of a meter tall. Another way to represent 3/10 is 0.3. Okay, oh, I need mirror. Sorry, hold on. Let me mirror. Where's my collage app? Gosh darn it. Okay. Both 3/10 as the fraction and 0.3 are read as 3/10. They represent 3 parts of 10 whole. Okay. So 3/10 would be 3/10. 5/10. How would I write that as a decimal? Ellie, what do you think? Hunter, I need you paying attention. 7/10. How would I write that as a decimal? Mason. 0.7. Okay. Turning the page. One of the tomatoes from a garden is 1 1/10 pound. How would I write 1 1/10 as a decimal? Leo, what do you think? 1.1. So 1 1/10 as a fraction and 1 1/10 as a decimal, right? Because we've got 1 whole and then 1 out of 10. So 1.1. All right. The tense models shows how many cups of water Tina uses to water a tomato plant. Okay, how would I write this as a fraction first? How many holes are there? 2. 2. And then what would our fraction be? 8 over. How would I write 2 8/10? 2.8. Okay, so Duke plants each tomato 6/10 of a meter apart. Represent the distance on the tense model and on the number line. So how many would I color in for the model? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So to there, right? How would I represent it over here? Well, there would be 5/10, right? Halfway. Hold on. Why not? Something like that, right? So where would 6/10 be here? Stop. 6/10, right? How would I write 6/10 as a decimal? 0.6. And what are we going to label it as? What am I going to label it as, guys? Meters. What are we measuring the distance in, though? Okay, write the amount shown as a mixed number and as a decimal. Okay, as a mixed number, how many holes are there? 3 holes. And what would my fraction be? Not just 5, but 5 over 10 or 5/10, right? How would I write that as a decimal? 3.5. 3.5. Good. It is. Yes. It wanted it as a mixed number and as a decimal. This one here, that's a mixed number because you're mixing a whole number and a fraction. So you're mixing them together. So that's a mixed number. Okay. All right. Hydroponics is a way of growing plants in water rather than soil. The nutrients that plants need to grow are put into water. Tanya designs a hydroponic system and fills the reservoir with 8/10 of a gallon of water. Use the tenths model to show the amount of water in the reservoir. Okay, so you're going to color it in. You'll color in 8 out of 10 and then write it as a decimal. Do that now. You're going to color it in and then write it as a decimal. Write 8/10 as a decimal. Give me a thumbs up when you have it. Thumbs up when you have it. Hey, Arista Hunter, waiting on you guys. Hey, so how many did we color in? 8. 8 of them, right? So all the way over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the way to there, right? How do you write 8/10 as a decimal? 0.8. 0.8. Okay, Liz plants 1 6/10 packs of tomato seeds. On the number line, show the amount of packs of seeds that Liz plants, and then you're going to write it as a decimal. So look up here, though. This is 0. This is 1 whole. So halfway would be what? 5/10. This is 1 whole. This is 2 whole. So halfway would be 1 and 5/10. So where would 1 and 6/10 be? Out right here, right? Okay, go ahead and write 1 and 6/10 as a decimal. Raise your hand when you get it, and I'll come check you. 1 and 6/10. So you're going to write 1 and 6/10 as a decimal. It looks like an 11, right? Why do you have 10.6? Why? It's 1 and 6/10. Yes, yes. No, you have 0 and 6/10. It's 1 and 6/10. That's yes, yes. There you go. There you go. Okay, it's not that hard, right, guys? You know, we're getting 10 and 11 now. We're going to that grocery store. So 1 6/10 as a decimal. How should we write that?
1.6.
1.6. Okay. This one here, we have 2 whole ones and then a fraction of 1. So you're going to write it as both a fraction and as a decimal. Okay. So here you'll put your 1 in fraction form. And then your 1 in decimal form. Do it. So you've got your whole numbers and then your fraction. Your whole numbers and your part of a whole. I am checking them, yeah. I'm checking really through that. Raise your hand when you have it. Good. Can you try to make your 9s look more like a 9? They always look like a G. Straight line, right? Straight line. You have 9/1. 9 out of how many were colored in? No. Out of how many bars are there? 10, right? 9/1, that would be 9 whole, so that would be 11. Okay? So it's 2 and 9/10, right? You have 2 9s. How do I show 2 whole? How would I show 2 whole? All right, your big 2. And then I have the fraction 9/10, right? So now how would I show that? There you go. 2.9 is right there. 2 and 9/10. How would I do that? What was my whole number? 2 and 9/10, that's the decimal. Hold on, we're right here, but that's only this one. The tenth is here. How many whole ones? 2. So you need a big 2 there. Now again, how many whole ones are there? 2. What do I need after the 2? What do I need before the decimal? And then good. You get me? There you go. Hey, what was our fraction?
Oh, you haven't.
Oh, have I checked you?
No.
They were nice, just right up here, right? 2.9. Yeah. Hey, what was our fraction? How many? Okay, be done with the head and the stomach padding. I don't want to see it anymore. Okay, how many whole ones did I have? 2. Now we're going to do the part out of the whole. What part was colored in?
9.
Out of how many total? Well, now we're going to turn that into a decimal, right? So again, how many whole? 2. So your whole number goes before the decimal. Hunter, I need you paying attention. How would I make 9/10 a decimal? 0.9. Okay. All right, let's look at the homework. Girls, you are focused on math right now, not conversing across the classroom. Page 119 in your math book. In your homework book, I mean. Hey, Tyler is making meatloaf for dinner. He uses 7/10 of a pound of onions in his ground meat mixture. Use the tenths models to show the amount of onions in the meatloaf. So I want to show 7/10. How would I do that? Mason, color in 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, then you are going to write 7/10 as a decimal. Hunter, how would I write 7/10 as a decimal? 0.7. Now we're talking a word problem, right? What would I label it? Pound. 7/10 of a pound. Okay. Okay, number 2. Mrs. Thomas gives each student 1 3/10 inches of tape to write their names on and attach to their projects. Show the length of tape that Mrs. Thomas gives each student on the number line. So like this would be 1 1/5. Okay, so something like that. So you need to figure out, show me where 1 3/10 is at. Oop, not 1 1/5, 1 5/10.
Wait, so we need to write that thing in line down there?
No, that's 1 5/10. That's halfway. Do you think you do?
Yes.
Probably. And then you are going to write 1 5/10 as a decimal. But, or sorry, 1 3/10 as a decimal. So you're going to write it as a decimal. What will we label it as?
Inches.
Inches. Guys, there are 10 lines there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 2 is the 10th one. Okay, 5 is halfway. That's why I started with that one. Not that hard. Okay, moving on. You can come back to it. James's dad wants to cut the grass. The tenths model show the number of gallons of gas in James's lawnmower. Write the number of gallons as a mixed number and as a decimal. So you're going to tell me what it would be as a fraction and as a decimal. So both. Remember, mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. You're mixing them together, right? Okay, turn the page. Which fraction is represented by that model? Number 5, you're turning that fraction into a decimal. Number 6, you have to figure out which one represents 1 6/10. So is it A, B, C, or D? Number 7, Tina is making coffee for 18 people in a meeting. She plans for each person to get 2 cups of coffee. Okay, so how many cups of coffee is she going to have to plan for? There's 18 people, each one gets 2. How would I find that? No, 18 people, each one gets 2. 18 times 2. So that's what we start with, right? So 2 times 8 is?
16.
Carry the 1. 2 times 1 plus 1.
30.
Okay, so how many cups of coffee will she need? 36. So whenever she makes a pot of coffee, that gives me 12 cups. How many pots of coffee would she have to make? How would I find that?
36 times 12.
Not 12, or not times, divide. What is 36 divided by 12? On your chart.
3.
So 3 pots. Find the perimeter of a rectangular garden with a width of 49 feet and a length of 84 feet. How do I find perimeter? No, that's area. How do I find perimeter?
Oh, length plus
Not times.
length plus length plus.
So you add all the sides, right?
Yep.
So if this is 49, what's this one? 49. If this is 84, what's this one? How do I label perimeter? How would I label this? No. Not square anything. Feet, just feet. You can use this area up here to label, okay? What? Did you have a question, Ellie? Are you sure? You don't sound so sure. Are you good, Ellie? Are you sure? Okay. All righty. Any other questions? Yes. I'm not talking to you. I didn't call on you. I called on Zeta. Yeah, perimeter. And we went over that, right?
Yeah, it's just been a while.
I literally just talked about it. That's why you got to pay attention, right, bud? I didn't do anything. I was just telling you you have to write the fraction and the decimal. All right, anything else?